News Hour at 9. Co-presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. Driven by Hyundai Kona Electric. Co-powered by JK Tyre.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The ban on hijab in classroom continues to stay. The Supreme Court today delivered a split verdict on the hijab ban in educational institutions in Karnataka as the two Supreme Court judges differed on whether the ban should stay or go and called for a larger bench to take the matter up. The two-judge bench agreed that there was a divergence of opinion and recommended that the Chief Justice of India constitute a three-judge bench to decide on this matter. Justice Hemant Gupta backed the ban on hijab in educational institutions, while Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia contended that the ban must be removed as education of girls was most important. The court dismissed the 26 appeals filed against the judgment of the Karnataka High Court that held that hijab was not an essential part of Islam. However, on the other hand, Justice Dhulia, allowing the appeal, said that it was a matter of choice for Muslim women, nothing less, nothing more, nothing to do about hijab being an essential part of their religion. Listen in to the reactions coming in from the court.
Justice Dhulia, on the other hand, said that he felt that this is an issue of essentiality, and the High Court misguided itself by going into the question of essentiality of religion, and said this was actually a question of right to education of the girl child. This was a question of freedom of expression of the girl child.
Justice Dhulia has differed with his view, and he has expressed that he has a differing view because a girl child faces a lot of problems while they are being sent to the schools and colleges, and their right to education is more important than wearing or not wearing a hijab.
The Karnataka government has welcomed the decision on hijab by the court, whereas the AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi calls the verdict a wrong decision and even says that wearing hijab is an order by Allah.
ನಮ್ಮದು ಅವರು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಜನ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಗಳು ವಿಭಿನ್ನ ತೀರ್ಪನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಬ್ಬರು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ತೀರ್ಪನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸ್ಕ್ವಾಶ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಗಳು ವಿಭಿನ್ನ ನಿಲುವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡಿಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಾಯ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು.
जो फाजिल जज साहब ने, ऑनरेबल जज साहब ने हिजाब के फेवर में जजमेंट दिया है और उन्होंने कहा है कि कर्नाटका हाई कोर्ट ने द हाई कोर्ट टूक अ रॉन्ग पाथ. तो ये बात जस्टिस धूलिया साहब ने कही है कि इट इज अल्टीमेटली अ मैटर ऑफ चॉइस. ये जो कर्नाटका की मुस्लिम लड़कियां हिजाब पहन रही हैं इसलिए पहन रही हैं क्योंकि कुरान में अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने उनको ये कहा है, हुक्म दिया है.
Now, even as the case is being referred to a larger bench, the lobby continues to incite with controversial remarks being made by the likes of AIMIM Neta Asim Wakar, who said that one part of the verdict is for the seculars while the other one was for the hardliners. He also said that the hardliners were happy with what Justice Gupta, who backed the ban, said, while the seculars welcomed the by Justice Dhulia. And ladies and gentlemen, Wakar is not the only one. Shocking remarks have also been made by Karnataka Congress leader B.K. Hari Prasad, who alleged a conspiracy by the Karnataka government to deny education to Muslim girl students. And then, of course, you have the Samajwadi Party Member of Parliament, Shafiqur Rahman Bark, who continues to repeat that the veil shields Muslim girls from vices. आवारगी, अगर हिजाब ना पहना जाए तो आवारगी को जन्म देती है. Listen in to all these voices.
हमारा ये मजहबी मामला है, इस्लाम का मामला है. हमारी बच्चियों को जो नौजवान होती हैं तो वो एक पर्दा है कि जो बहुत सी बुराइयों से अलहदा कर देता है। इस्लाम के मानने वालों पर इस पर पाबंदी नहीं लगाई।
जस्टिस गुप्ता ने जो फैसला दिया है वो फैसला, वो जो देश की कट्टरपंथी सोच है वो लोग खुश हैं, और जस्टिस धुलिया ने जो फैसला दिया है कि उन्होंने कहा हाई कोर्ट का फैसला गलत, उसको गलत ठहरा दिया, वो देश की सेकुलर सोच को जाहिर करता है। हम सब लोग जस्टिस धुलिया का स्वागत करते हैं।
संविधान में जो भी हमारा बेसिक राइट्स है, फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रैक्टिस, फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रीचिंग, दैट शुड बी प्रोटेक्टेड। जहाँ तक ये कर्नाटक का सवाल है, ये हिजाब का मामला नहीं है। लोग जो स्कूल जाने शुरू किया है उसको रोकने का एक बहुत बड़ा साजिश था।
Even as the debate over equality and choice for Muslim women still continues, the Congress still seems to be in asking for account from the Prime Minister on economic inequality and social polarization, as Jairam Ramesh mentions in his tweet today. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same Congress party that even backed the hijab for women. Listen in to Congress MLA Arif Masood.
ये फैसले में ऐसा लगता है कि जस्टिस गुप्ता ने हमारे आर्गुमेंट को एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया। समझ तो लिया था लेकिन वो शायद एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाए। जस्टिस धूलिया ने हमारे आर्गुमेंट्स को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, जिसके लिए हम उनका थैंक्स कहते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे बड़ा जो वकीलों की जिरा थी और जो हमारी मांग थी वो एक्चुअल में बड़ी गंभीर थी। अब दो चीजें भाई सवाल खड़े हो गए। एक आर्टिकल 1921 जो रिलीजियस फ्रीडम हमको देते हैं, वो आर्टिकल की हिफाजत सुप्रीम कोर्ट को करना है, क्योंकि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की हिफाजत के लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट बना है। सेकंड, उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रिलीजियस के साथ साथ ड्रेस कोड के साथ बच्चियां इंस्टीट्यूट में हायर एजुकेशन ले सकें, जिसको जस्टिस धुलिया ने एक्सेप्ट करा, कबूल करा कि उनके लिए ये बाधा नहीं आना चाहिए, एजुकेशन बड़ी है। और बोर्ड का बयान अभी आना बाकी है, बोर्ड के जनरल सेक्रेटरी अभी मीटिंग कर रहे हैं।
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight: is there a lobby that's still blocking women empowerment? That's the question, and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Saeed Rizwan Ahmed, lawyer, Amina Sherwani, activist, Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress party, advocate Neelofar Masood, political analyst, Danish Qureshi, political analyst, and Abdul Razak Khan, political analyst. My first question goes to Saeed Rizwan Ahmed. Rizwan Ahmed Sahab, we are where we were over the last few months, and we still don't know whether hijab is something that should be allowed in a school uniform or not. The same lawyers who have been arguing this matter about making it a choice of women continue to impose their views, and in fact people like Shafiqur Rahman come forward and say कि इससे तो आवारगी बढ़ेगी अगर हिजाब ना पहना गया. What do you say to this mixture of various arguments just to keep women in shackles and perpetuate their subjugation in one form or the other that continues to happen?
Thank you so much, Jain Vande Mataram. One of the most foolish interpretation of a Supreme Court order I heard for the first time. One judge gave a secular judgment and one judge gave a hardline judgment. I mean, this is so stupid. You know, such people should stop commenting on the observations or the ratio of Honorable Supreme Court, number one. Number two, a split judgment is a split judgment. And how we see it into it, if the Honorable Supreme Court split judgment comes always in a division bench, means two-judge bench. More, as the lawyers increase, they increase in odd number. Either next time there will be 3 judges, or I think the constitutional bench will be formed under 5 judges. So this split judgment issue won't arise then. But as of today, the question arises, did the court, till the matter is forwarded to the CJI and a constitutional bench is formed, does the stay on the ban of the hijab within the campus continues, or they have vacated the order of the Honorable Supreme Court till we reach a logical conclusion through the constitutional bench, the girls in the hijab should be allowed in the school. So as of today, without reading the judgment much into it, as of today, this judgment has not come in favor of, by an iota of imagination, in favor of the women or the people who are arguing for the hijab in the campus. Now this matter continues for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, nobody knows, I don't know, you don't know. And the status quo continues that girls in that specific school are not going to wear the hijab. That is very clear. So the hijab side has not got any relief which they were expecting.
दानिश कुरैशी लिबरल है, हार्डलाइनर है, जजमेंट.
Navika, I'm not going into liberal or hardliner. This is all about the educational institute, and we are talking about the uniformity. Is we are having all the uniform of the entire nation is same? No, each and every educational institute has his own uniform. So what is the problem with the piece of cloth can be extended in the nature of hijab for the girl child, those who want to study? I think this will be the one next cause of dropout ratios of the girls. Those families are practicing as a hijab of the girl child. Now what is the fact behind that? That government of Karnataka issued a notice on 2nd of February to ban on hijab. Why did they want that? That is the main question. Although they can issue a guideline for the educational institute for the uniformity, but they didn't that. They create a caste controversy, and they started the politicizing the situation, and the matters come from Karnataka to the capital of the country and the top court of the country. Now this scenario has been created by the ruling party, those who are interested in the communal politics in the nation.
You are saying that Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi is not interested in the politics, yet he comes out every day to talk about hijab, but he is not interested in the politics. He is possibly running an NGO. Having said that, let me ask Amina Sherwani ji. Amina Sherwani ji, ये कह रहे हैं कि February 2nd this issue was raised, so there is a political agenda. Then can't we also argue why is this agenda coming up in 2022? If hijab was so essential, then this issue should have come up in 1947, 1964, 1980, 1985. Why is it coming up in 2022? Why was it made an issue at this point in time by those who really have become so-called poster boys and girls of this entire crusade? Why now?
Oh yes, Navika, the issue of parda and ghungat has been coming up time and again in our country, and we have all been speaking against it. Our constitution tells us that parda is a kuriti, ghungat is a kuriti, and women have to be liberated from it, and all of us have worked for generations to do this, to liberate women from ghungat and parda, and we have been succeeding. Our success is what is troubling these people, and it is their aim to regress our society, be it Hindu women or Muslim women. There is a conspiracy to regress all of us and shoot us back into some time from which we have gotten out. हमने तो अपने घूंघटों के, दुपट्टों के, ओढ़नियों के परचम बना डाले हैं. अब हमको दोबारा तुम घूंघटों में, पर्दों में, ओढ़नियों में क्यों डालने की बात कर रहे हो? हम तो उनको छोड़ चुके. हमने उनको विद्रोह रेवोल्यूशन का सिंबल बना के परचम में परिवर्तित कर दिया. This is what the poetry of my time, not my time, my grandmother's time used to say. And today young girls who are 18-year-old are clamoring for hijab as though it's a chocolate, as though it's a treat, as though it is their identity. Let me warn them that parda takes away your identity. It does not give you an identity. It takes away your identity. It wipes you out from public life. It annihilates your existence, and it regresses you back slowly but surely. And just as the women of Iran today are screaming and shouting and dying, literally they are dying, they are ready to die in order to finish the hijab, one day we will have to fight a similar battle. So why are we being foolish? Why are we putting ourselves in this danger? We are already liberated. In my childhood, I never saw this black garment. In my mother's childhood, it was virtually wiped out. My great-grandmother never wore one. My mother never wore one. My grandmother never wore one. Why are my younger daughters, my young Muslim women clamoring for this thing? It is horrible. Believe me. Take my word for it. हम लोग ने खून पसीना एक करके हम लड़े हैं इसके खिलाफ. हमारी मेहनत पर पानी मत फेरो खुदा के वास्ते. कुरान के वास्ते मत फेंको. तुम्हारा कुरान तुमसे कहता है कि तुम्हें पर्दे की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. तुम आजाद हो, तुम स्ट्रांग हो.
Neelofar Masood ji,
I'm not deciding. That's what the Quran says. If you don't want to obey, then don't take the plea. Don't take the plea that the Quran commands it. Quran को बदनाम करना बंद कर दीजिए. I am not saying it. I am not saying it. The Quran is saying.
Liberalization.
The Quran tells you cannot hide. The Quran tells you cannot disguise yourself. The Quran tells you cannot put so much makeup on your face that we don't recognize you anymore. The hijab takes away your identity. As a Muslim, I cannot let a garment or makeup take away my identity. मैं अपना भेष नहीं बदल सकती जो खुदा ने मुझे दिया है.
Neelofar ji, what is your point? What is your point?
Yeah. See, Navika, the thing which has been given to the issue, I think it was very simple issue because a girl was heckled by few students. Then what happened? It was politicalized. Then religious flavor was given to this issue. And problem lies there. Because escalating our hijab in our country highlights the growing marginalization of the Muslims.
She was other girls.
It was taken in that view. It was taken in that view. It was engineered. Why don't you understand? We have our own set laws. Nobody is trusting further system on females here. In Iraq, you are raising voice.
Do you agree with Shafiqur Rahman Saab who says hijab नहीं पहनेंगे तो आवारगी बढ़ेगी?
I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him. Not at all. If I choose to cover my head, how it is going to cause any sort of discrimination? How?
No, but this is not
harming anybody.
This is not about you, ma'am.
It is not causing any
But this was never about you. You can wear a hijab. This was about hijab as a uniform in a school. This was about hijab as a uniform in a school. And Abdul Razak Khan, I want to ask you.
Navika, had it been taken in a simple manner, we could have.
It's an all-girls school. If girls want to do parda in an all-girls school, can you imagine how crazy that sounds?
No, we stand because Quran provides. It is an essential thing which females have to do it. Quran speaks about it.
पहले तो ये आप आपस में तय कर लीजिए कि कुरान ने कहा है या नहीं कहा है. कुरान ने कहा है या नहीं कहा है हिजाब के बारे में. हिजाब पहनना चाहिए ये कुरान कह रहा है कि नहीं कह रहा. आमना शरीफ जी कह रही है कि कुरान doesn't say.
And nobody is thirsting here, females, that you have to cover it. In Iraq, they are being forced to choose it. In Iraq. And you are talking about them because they are being forced. We are not being forced to do it. And those females who want to cover their head, it is their liberty, it is their choice.
Okay, Abdul Razak Khan. Abdul Razak Khan. All right, I heard you, Advocate Neelofar. I heard you. I want to get in Abdul Razak Khan. Abdul Razak Khan, my question to you is that if you were a lawyer, would you wear shorts and go to the court? Or would you wear your black gown? Would you wear your band? And would you wear your black and whites and go to court?
Nobody, you should. Navika ji, please try to understand these girls who want to get into the school, into the college, want to practice their religion completely. It is up to their choice whether they want to carry the hijab till the classroom or inside the classroom. These girls are not hypocrites who want to keep the hijab in their pocket, get inside the classroom, come out and wear it again. Hijab has never been a hindrance in the women empowerment. Even Mrs. Pratibha Patil, who has been the President of India, used to wear hijab. You look at Modi ji's mother. Modi ji's mother, Hiraben, wears a hijab. She puts a cloth on her head whenever she meets her son.
No, why would you call that a hijab? A ghungat is a good enough
name. You can name it anything. In my opinion,
okay, may I tell you, Abdul Razak Khan, राजस्थान में घूंघट पहनने की बड़ी प्रथा थी, बहुत प्रथा थी घूंघट पहनने की, लेकिन स्कूलों में कोई नहीं कहता था कि घूंघट पहन के आएंगी लड़कियां।
आपने कभी हिंदुस्तान में आज तक हिजाब को लेकर, घूंघट को लेकर कोई आंदोलन नहीं हुआ है। ये जो लेडीज यहाँ बैठ करके बोल रही है, ये ईरान में नहीं है, ये ईरान की लड़कियों के हक के लिए लड़ रहे हैं। यहाँ पर जो लोग पिटीशन डाले
अपने बचपन में और जवानी में तो कभी ये सर पे पट्टी बंदी देखी ही नहीं,
ना थी होगी,
तो बिल्कुल 15-20 साल से आई है,
नहीं थी होगी,
बिल्कुल नहीं।
अम्मी को मैंने देखा हिजाब पहनते हुए,
सिंथेटिक कपड़े बिल्कुल नहीं थे,
पता नहीं किस फैमिली में पैदा हुई है,
दुपट्टा ओढ़ा करती थी, ये
मुझे नहीं मालूम आप किस,
अरेबियन हिजाब
मुझे नहीं मालूम आप किस फैमिली में पैदा हुए,
एक्सपोर्ट होके आया है इधर में, ये था ही नहीं, किसी घर में नहीं था। नाविका रिवाइंड करिए भारत की, आपके पास आर्काइवल फुटेज होगी।
अब आप उनके इस्लामिक होने पर भी सवाल उठा रहे हैं, ये भी आपकी चॉइस है, ये भी आपकी चॉइस है। रिजवान अहमद साहब, अगर आमना शरीफ जी कुछ कहती है, अमीना शेरवानी जी कुछ कहती है, तो अब्दुल रज़ाक खान कह रहे हैं आप पता नहीं कौन सा इस्लाम फॉलो करती हैं। अब इस्लाम के कई ग्रेड्स आते हैं क्या?
जी
आप कौन सी फैमिली में पैदा हुए, आप कौन सा इस्लाम फॉलो?
नाविका,
करना तो सुन
नाविका, रिजवान इज माय नेम, रिजवान हैव द कर्टसी, रिजवान इज माय नेम, हैव द कर्टसी। सी नाविका, द बिगेस्ट फॉल्ट,
अच्छा
नाविका,
अमीना जी एक मिनट, रिजवान जी also wants to make a point.
Navika.
1 minute, hold on Abdul Razak Khan.
Navika,
please hold on. You can certify
Muslim Munch, you don't belong to us.
यार तुम
Who doesn't belong to you, sir?
सीखी है यार।
Who doesn't belong to you, sir? Who are you to decide who belongs to you and who doesn't belong to you, sir?
I don't belong to you, certainly. I don't desire to belong to you.
Who come as Muslims and talk against Islam.
I am not at all from any Rashtriya Muslim Munch. I don't belong to any organization.
But नहीं, आप तय करेंगे, आप तय करेंगे, ये चॉइस दे रहे हैं आप। वाह क्या बात है,
कुरान में मौजूद है,
वाह क्या बात है। अब्दुल रज़ाक खान, मैं सबके फेडर्स डाउन कर रही हूँ, और रिजवान अहमद साहब, अब अब्दुल रज़ाक खान डिसाइड करेंगे कौन किस ग्रेड का इस्लाम फॉलो करता है, और वो ही तय करेंगे कि कौन मुसलमान है कौन नहीं है। ये सारे हक, ये सारे इख्तियार शायद कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने सिर्फ अब्दुल रज़ाक खान और इनके जैसे कुछ ठेकेदारों को दिए। डू यू अग्री विद दिस?
Okay, Navika, listen to me. A humble advice to the learned you and the panelists who are against the hijab. They can have their opinion and they can have their fights and crusades against the hijab. I respect them, I salute them. But today, at this given moment, if you establish or submit an argument pro-hijab or in favor of hijab, then believe me, you all are falling in trap of these fundamentalist Muslims who are advocating for hijab in the school. The argument here is hijab in school. For God's sake, please do not spill over this argument as the argument for with hijab or against hijab. Number one. The submission is the Holy Quran submits for women that they should be covered. Now the question arises for all the panelists who are supporting the hijab in the school. Again, I request all of you, whenever you talk about hijab in the school, because issue is not hijab, issue is hijab in the school. So the question is, what was the dress of the girls? Was that dress enough to cover the girl? The dress was shalwar, the dress was kameez, the dress was a dupatta. The question is, does it fall into the category of the teachings of Quran? The answer is yes.
You don't need the fourth thing to come in the category of being a covered girl in class 8. Did the school introduce a skirt? Did the school introduce a sleeveless shirt? The answer is no. So stick your argument to the hijab in the class. The girls were covered or not. The girls were covered as per Sharia. So just shut up.
You want to respond to that, Mr. Lokesh Jindal, because the Congress seems to be the latest party where hijab wearing young girls have become part of their poster operation in Bharat Jodo. Is it really a question of choice anymore? Is it really restricted to hijab as a uniform in schools, or has there been a special move to muddy the waters, and every time it has been the same fear? Islam is under danger in India. ये RSS वाले आएंगे और ये BJP वाले आएंगे और इस्लाम को डेंजर में कर देंगे. बस एक यही खौफ, एक यही डर फैलाने का जो आपका मकसद है, यही चल रहा है.
Good evening, Navika. Today I just read Justice Dhulia's observation, and he rightly points out that this entire issue revolves around the matter of choice. He has stated it that if a girl wants to wear hijab inside the classroom, she cannot be stopped. If it is worn as a matter of choice, as it may only be her ticket to education, because in a conservative family, they might insist upon allowing a girl in a rural area to go to a school, have access to education if she is wearing a hijab. Now the point is, a school is meant to impart education, make it more accessible, facilitate education. And if you are going to bring about certain rules and restrictions which might prevent a girl from accessing this education, the school is not doing its job. The point is, we have to allow greater educational availability to Muslim women so that they can participate in the means, they can come out as doctors, lawyers, become more self-dependent, and once that has been achieved, they would be able to take decisions on their own self as to which practice they want to follow and which practice which they want to discard.
All right.
The court, when it enters this territory of deciding whether a particular practice is essential part of religion or not, it is entering a difficult terrain. It is entering a theological domain altogether for which it is not having necessary expertise. So what I intend to say, let the law do its job, let the institutions do or perform the purpose for which they are being established, rather than entering the domain of politics and trying to politicize every damn issue, even if that pertains to social matter.
Well, would you want to look back at the history of empowerment of women through the Congress party? Would you want to do that? Would you want to?
I'll answer on that.
And Ratan Sharda, would you want to remind him when a whole law was changed just in order to not empower a woman? ये history, ये matter of choice आज दुनिया को समझा रहे हैं. Ratan Sharda ji, why don't you respond to Mr. Lokesh Jindal?
See, for nearly 100 years, our Congress has been always bending backwards to support the mullah elements and the Maulvi elements in the Indian society. It has never supported progressive, educated Muslims. That is the plain fact. So let us not, try to dignify the entire debate by saying the empowerment, this and that. Now, this hijab was never an argument till 1 year back. There are two ladies here, both are Muslims. Both of them are not wearing hijab as per the actual definition of hijab. Are they not Muslims? Would this gentleman sitting with a black jacket will say they are not Muslims? Who are we to judge? Is the new Imam the new Pope of Islam? And now coming to more practical issues which we talked about, these people who are talking of hijab, are they talking hijab or they are talking of burqa? The circular that I have seen at the school, a photocopy of with me, it says scarves of the same color as dupatta will be allowed, no other dress. So do we understand the difference between niqab, hijab and burqa? These people are taking advantage of the ignorance of the people and trying to create a ruckus where there is none. There was none for so many years. Like the lady pointed out, there was hardly any burqa or hijab in the public for more than 20-30 years back. It is creeping in because of Maulvi's pressure. Now this goalpost, first they said essential part of Islam. Then they said court doesn't understand Islam. Then Owaisi said that they are using commentaries which is not legal, which is right for Islam. Then this is question of privacy. They said question of dignity. Are the women who are not covering their head, if they are not dignified? Are they not Muslims? And he talked about Parda. Parda system was actually introduced in India because of Islamic invasions to save the dignity of the women. Now when it happened, they removed the Pardas, they're slowly going. There is no injunctions for women to wear a particular dress. And we are talking, as Rizwan rightly pointed out, only about hijab in schools. If hijab was allowed in the schools, why this entire ruckus is being done by girls wearing burqas with PFI support? What is your argument basically about? And when you say matter of choice, as you rightly pointed out, the judges are talking of matter of choice. They have not even moved out of the British Jamana gown, which is totally unsuitable for Indian people. A lawyer who had gone without that proper, burqa, without the hijab, was fired by the judges. A lawyer who talked in Hindi was fired by the judges. So on one side you're talking colonialism, on the second side same judges say puberty ho gayi to girl can be married off. So you are also talking against the right of the women to be married as per law after they attain adulthood. You are okay with that. They said that disloyalty to the husband is allowed because it was not done at the time of agreement or at the time of marriage. I'm sorry, they don't know the Hindu wedding rights. So at one side you want to be woke, on the other side you are supporting the most retrogressive people on the who are using religion to creep in the Sharia on the top of the Indian Constitution. So let us be very clear what you want. Let us see what you want. You have people claiming to be Pope of Islam today.
Okay, hands going up on the panel. Abdul Razak Khan, what do you not agree with?
You have empowered them.
I am saying that all these people in the panel who are talking against hijab, I would like to convey to them, the girls who have petitioned the Supreme Court come from their own will and wish. Nobody is forcing them. They are not compelled. We are not living in the 40s. We are in 2020.
No, how do you know?
These adults.
Because there have been statements of Campus Front of India which have come. There have been statements that these same girls till a few months ago were not wearing the hijab. Suddenly the demand for hijab came out. Why? How can you decide all of this, Abdul Razak Khan, without even being there?
Navika, will you give me 30 seconds? Navika, can you give me 30 seconds?
Madam, all these girls who have petitioned the Supreme Court have organized press conferences. They have spoken on their own. They are adults.
Okay, organized press conferences. Rizwan Ahmad Saab.
And use this as a political agenda.
18-year-old girls in India routinely organize press conferences without any support. 18-year-old girls in India from the Muslim community routinely organize, press conferences and speak to the press. Routinely they go to the Supreme Court without any help. Wow, we are greatly empowered, if I may say so.
They can do whatever they like.
So allow them their choice. How hypocrite you are. You stand with the women of Iran. You are not standing with.
I find it hard to reach the Supreme Court, and these girls have reached Supreme Court in 30 seconds. They reached High Court in 20 seconds.
Madam,
more advanced. This is the empowerment. This is the empowerment.
Fantastic. Without any backing, without any agenda, without any backing, all on their own.
Appreciate my sisters are so bold enough.
No, it doesn't happen like that.
So some people are saying women are so empowered. So women are so. 1 minute, gentlemen and women. 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Rizwan Ahmad wants to come in, and then Lokesh Jindal. Rizwan Ahmad, to you first.
Yeah. See, Navika, this issue should be nipped in the bud. The reason being, today I was in a debate and somebody was saying, is it a security threat if young girls are wearing a hijab? So I said, no, it is not. But I told them how it will work. Tomorrow, they will say, I am an air hostess in Indigo. Is it a security threat if I wear a hijab as an air hostess? Tomorrow, a receptionist in a 5-star hotel will say, is it a security threat if I don't wear a hijab?
So this thing should be nipped in the bud, number one. And whereas matter of choice goes, Navika, the Madrasa board still exists in the country. So as a lawyer, I have to accept that. My humble question is, forget about girl wearing anything. Will the people running a madrasa board allow a boy in jeans and t-shirt to be a part of the madrasa? Will they allow? No, they won't allow. There they will say that this is not a part of a dress culture in this institution. So
well, it works both ways. It works both ways, दानिश कुरैशी जी, अगर मदरसे के अपने रूल्स हैं तो स्कूल्स के अपने रूल्स हैं. अगर हिजाब पहना, of course it's a matter of choice, but then go to the school that allows it. Make the choice there.
Navika, what is the problem with this entire panel is कि ये लोग इस तरीके से स्टैब्लिश कर रहे हैं जैसे कि उन बच्चियों के ऊपर मुस्लिम का जो पुरुष वर्ग है वो जबरदस्ती हिजाब थोप रहा है.
नहीं है क्या?
तो वेलकम करना चाहिए कि बच्चियों में इतनी जरूरत है कि उन्होंने इंस्टीट्यूशन के. नाविका, लेट मी अलाउ टू कंप्लीट प्लीज. मुझे खत्म कर लेने दे, फिर आप बोले प्लीज.
जो पॉलिटिकल आउटफिट
सुनिए, अब सवाल ये है कि अगर उन्होंने जाकर चैलेंज किया है तो यहाँ बैठे लोग अपनी तारीफें गिनवा रहे हैं कि हमने ये रेवोल्यूशन ला दिया, वो रेवोल्यूशन ला दिया. अरे मेरी बात सुनिए, मैं क्या पहनूंगा ये मेरी अपनी चॉइस है. अगर किसी एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट ने रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया है तो उसके कानूनी पैमाने हैं, ये समझने की जरूरत है. और कानूनी पैमाने इस्तेमाल हो जाने दीजिए. क्या परेशानी है आपको? आप मुझे ये बताइए, आप जबरदस्ती क्यों करना चाहती हैं? बताइए तो.
नहीं,
और जिसको हिजाब और निकाब और पर्दे का
जबरदस्ती तो कोई किसी के साथ इस देश में कर नहीं सकता, क्योंकि यहाँ एक संविधान है, एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है. बट आई वॉन्ट टू आस्क यू, नो, माई क्वेश्चन टू यू दानिश कुरैशी, if it is a matter of choice, why is it being debated on the grounds that this is an essential part of the religion? Why is it now boiling down to अगर नहीं पहनेंगे तो आवारगी हो जाएगी? Why is it boiling down to that? And Lokesh Jindal, that is my question. If I know correctly, the Quran also says that मर्द हो या औरत नजरें झुका के रखनी चाहिए. पर वहां कुरान की जो बताई हुई बात है वो ऑप्शनल है. मर्द ना माने कोई बात नहीं, औरतों को तो माननी पड़ेगी.
No, it is not.
Actually, Navika, you're wrong here. It only tells men to lower their gaze. It does not tell women to lower their gaze.
Okay.
It only orders
Then I stand corrected. Only Muslim men have to lower their gaze. Muslim men have to lower their gaze. Where have you seen a Muslim man lowering his gaze? Forget other countries, in India. आप इंडिया में बता दीजिए लोकेश जिंदल जी, बता दीजिए.
See, Navika, when I'm talking about family as an institution, it imparts.
No, you answer the question. I don't want your lecture on family as an institution. Are Muslim men in India following the diktat of the Quran, which says नजरें झुका के चलिए?
If a man believes in Islam and wants to follow it, must adhere to it. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. If a person is a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai,
matter of choice for men.
Even if it's a woman,
Abdul Razak Khan,
it's for men
नजरें झुका के चला करते हैं आप.
This is mandatory in Islam. This is not a matter of choice. That men have to lower their gaze is mandatory in Islam. Men are not given the choice to lift up their eyes. They have only one choice, that is to lower their gaze and walk where there are women.
Muslim men do not look at other women. Madam, practicing Muslim men do not look at other women.
No, now you have to wear a label. Who is a practicing Muslim man and who is not a practicing Muslim man? I mean,
you please don't get into the essentiality of Islam. It is up to the believer and his faith. Who am I? Who are you?
So then let the matter of hijab.
It is up to the believer and
that is exactly the point. So Ratan Sharda, Amina Sherwani अगर कुछ कहे तो वो इनको जहर लगता है. वो वहाँ पे interpretation of the faith is not left to her. Interpretation of faith will be done by the Abdul Razak, will be done by the Danish Qureishis. Amina can't do it. But when it comes to the men, it should be left to them.
Hijab.
I love the boys. I love the boys. They are so adorable.
Ratan Sharda ji.
I see, since I have gone to 2 debates on this topic, I see the hidden under the respectability, the Islamists sitting in various panels. They are so unsure what they want. They are so apologetic after today's judgment. They are saying it was essential practice of religion. Then they said judges don't understand Quran, they don't understand Islam, they are not fit to give judgment. Then they said it's a matter of privacy, it's a matter of dignity. Please tell me what exactly you want. A person sitting here says that why shout about this judgment? अरे भैया, आपको 70 साल तक स्कूल के अंदर हिजाब की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. आज आपको सडनली 6 महीने पहले हिजाब की जरूरत पड़ गई. प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बात कर रहे थे ना, पीएफआई का केस भूल गए. पीएफआई का एक चार्ज है कि हिजाब के केस के अंदर उन्होंने सारे चिल्लाने का क्या फायदा.
लेकिन आपके पास
देखिए यही प्रॉब्लम है, जैसे आप एक्सपोज होते हैं चिल्लाने लग जाते हैं. चिल्लाइए
इसी तरह के इश्यूज पे बात करेंगे.
चिल्लाइए.
सुनिए
मैंने एक भी आर्ग्यूमेंट आपने मेरे को काउंटर की. आपको हिजाब चाहिए कि आपको बुर्का चाहिए, आपने जवाब नहीं दिया. आपने जवाब नहीं दिया. आपको मैटर ऑफ चॉइस है तो विमेन जो है
One minute. The issue here is really, ladies and gentlemen, subjugation and deciding character of women, deciding the choice of women, deciding how far the women can go in the interpretation of Islam, how far women have to follow. But of course, for men, no rules apply. Is that empowerment of women, Islam style? I don't know. If it's a matter of choice, leave it to the women to decide. That's all there is to it. And uniform in schools, how does that become part of an essential part of a religion debate is only a question that should be asked to those who are muddying the waters as far as this question of school uniforms first came on the scene. The question is, are we becoming more liberal in our thought, or are we becoming more hardliners in the recent past than we ever have since 1947? It's a question that begs an answer. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining me on Debate.